Hi, welcome to my backyard. We haven't been able to take back library books, so I realized, sitting at my house, I had the book, Follow the Drinking Gourd. I've been missing everyone, so I thought I'm going to share this video with you tonight. Follow the Drinking Gourd, Story and Pictures by Jeanette Winter. This is a book about people trying to escape from slavery during the time of the Civil War using a song that had all the clues of how to get north to freedom, north to places like Ohio, and then over into Canada. In second grade, we did this book, and in third grade, we made it about halfway through. So now we all get to hear it. Long ago, before the Civil War, there was an old sailor called Peg-Leg Joe who did what he could to help free the slaves. Joe had a plan. He'd use hammer and nail and work for the master, the man who owned the slaves on the cotton plantation. Joe had a plan. At night when the work was done, he'd teach the slaves a song that secretly told the way north. Just follow the drinking gourd, it said. Do you remember what the drinking gourd is? When the song was learned and sung all day, Peg-Leg Joe would slip away to work for another master and teach the song again. One day, a slave called Molly saw her man James being sold to another man. He would be taken away, their family torn apart. Just one more night together. A quail called in the tree that night. Molly and James remembered Joe's song, and they sang it low. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. You see the drinking gourd? That's the dipper, and it points to the North Star. Taking their little son Isaiah, old Hattie, and her grandson George, Molly and James set out for freedom that very night, following the stars of the drinking gourd. They ran all night through the field till they crossed the stream in the woods. You know why it's so important to cross the stream? You'll see. When daylight came, they hid in the trees, watching, listening for the master's hounds set loose to find them. But the dogs had lost the runaway scent at the stream, and the runaways were not found. Molly, James, Isaiah, old Hattie hid in the woods all day. At night they walked again, singing Joe's song and looking for the signs that marked the trail. Okay, there's 3 signs in this picture. See if you can find them all. The riverbank makes a very good road. The dead trees will show you the way. Left foot, peg foot, traveling on. Follow the drinking gourd. Hope you saw them all. Walking by night, sleeping by day, for weeks they traveled on. Sometimes berries to pick and corn to snatch. Sometimes fish to catch. Sometimes empty bellies to sleep on. And sometimes no stars to guide the way. They never knew what lay ahead. There was danger from men who would send them back. Danger from hungry beasts. But sometimes a kind deed was done. One day as they hid in a thicket, a boy from a farm found them. In a bag of feed for the hogs in the woods, he brought them bacon and cornbread to share. Singing low, they traveled on. You'll see 2 things important in this picture. See if you can catch them. The riverbank makes, the river ends between 2 hills. Follow the drinking gourd. There's another river on the other side. Follow the drinking gourd. I don't think my neighbor's dog likes my singing very well. On and on they followed the trail to the river's end. From the top of the hill they saw the new path, another river beneath the stars to lead them to freedom land. The drinking gourd led them on, and the song was almost done. When the great big river meets a little river, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. Remember who the old man is? Then they climbed down the last hill, and down below was Peg-Leg Joe, waiting at the wide Ohio River to carry them across. Their spirits rose when they saw the old man. Molly, James, Isaiah, and old Hattie ran to the shore. Look, there he is with his rowboat, waiting to take him across the Ohio River. I bet some of you have gone across the Ohio River in your car. There they go. Under a starry sky, he rowed them across the wide Ohio River. He told them of hiding places where they would be safe. A path of houses stretched like a train, not a real train, on a secret track leading north to Canada. He called it the Underground Railroad. It carried its riders to freedom. The first safe house stood on a hill. The lamp was lit, which meant it was safe to climb. Joe made the signal, a hoot like an owl. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. The door was open wide to welcome the freedom travelers. I bet it's the first time they've been in a house in a long time. They were rushed through the house to the barn, for the farmers knew that the slave catchers were near. Okay, so look at how they are in the barn. Oh boy, down underneath where the horses are. A trap door in the floor took them under the barn to hide till it was safe to move on. Peg-Leg Joe went back to the river to meet other travelers who had followed the drinking gourd. With danger still near, too close for ease, the farmer set the 5 travelers on. He drew a map that showed the way north on the midnight road to the next safe house, just over 2 hills. This time, James called the signal, a hoot like an owl, that opened the door to a Quaker farm. The travelers were led to a secret room behind the shelves. There were lots of these secret places here in Columbus because the many travelers came right up this way. They rested there for many days. They healed their wounds, soft beds, full meals, new clothes, hot baths washed away some fear and pain. Isaiah smiled. That bath felt really good after traveling all that time. When they were strong, they traveled again from house to house on the underground trail, following the drinking gourd north. Sometimes they traveled on foot, sometimes by cart. A wagon they rode near their journey's end carried fruit to market and the runaways to freedom. Look carefully at this picture. Those are apples, and they're near Lake Erie. Do you see that? We pick apples like in September or October, and they've been traveling since spring when the first quail called. Whew, that's a long time. At last, they reached the shores of Lake Erie. Oh. Molly, James, Isaiah, old Hattie, and young George climbed aboard the steamship that would carry them across to Canada to freedom. They had to get out of the United States into Canada to really be safe. 5 more souls are safe, old Hattie cried. The sun shone bright when they stepped on land. They had followed the drinking gourd. Awesome. How nice to share a book with you from my back porch in my backyard. I sure miss you all.